All right, the ritual is about to start soon, and there's some things that I wanted to note before we get started here. One is that I know this is a spirit from the Ziggurat, but it's not just a spirit, if you will. This is one of their assistants has been talking with me, if you will, um, when I'm trying to make decisions while I'm still sick again, um, which I'm thankful. But I was explicitly told to not do any other rituals in this area tonight. No offerings, no consuming anything in here. So I was told I didn't have to go outside, and I made sure that these spirits with their altars here are not going to be offended by that, and they would rather this be dealt with. So whatever spirit this was, is I've basically been inadvertently ignoring for 20 years. So what I've done, so I'm waiting for the coal to heat up. As you can see here, I have an incense mixture here of hand filed pine, cedar, and American holly, which were what was requested, frankincense and myrrh. After I mixed my blood with these things and this coal, I was told to smear it on there before I wash my fingers off. So this is going to end up being an offering too. But it's the 26th of December 2023, and I'm going to get my mask on and turn the light out. Spirit of the Ziggurat, whose ground I walked 20 years ago, I finally heard your call. I believe I understand part of it, but only part. Please come that I may drink with you. Please come that I may apologize. Please come. I will wait. I feel your gaze, I feel you coming. Please come. I feel like the energy that he's partially using to come here so quickly is coming from me. I feel you. Please come. Right, a couple of his, I don't know if servants is the right word, but they've come into the space to the left and right. Please come. I have answered your call, yes. I did not answer it sooner because I did not hear it sooner. I did not suspect it was related to the Ziggurat, to what, a few months ago? When I was working through the Book of Smokeless Fire. And it came to me as a remembrance of seeing spirits that disappeared there. And that's what started triggering the memory, but not of you. So I might ask, why do my palms both feel connected to you? Yes, I will. I do apologize for not answering your call sooner. I do state that even if I noticed it back then, I would not have been able to do anything about it. Not until long after, when I finally answered the Kate's call. But I've been sick for 20 years. I don't understand why you do not make yourself known. I don't understand what the point of this is, then. I shall. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. You said the point of this is that I desecrated the ground, walking into a space where I do not belong, essentially, with a spiritual practice that did not mimic theirs. And he's very angry that I said, then what's the point of this? I can't change what I've done. I can only change what I will do. What is it that you are asking of me? Send me clear this debt with you. Okay. In what manner? He says I'm going to have to do some work for him. The work will vary, but he says I will learn from it. And those two, the male and female, servants or similar, or I'm going to be interfacing with them and assisting them. And I left out and teaching them, but he just corrected me that I need to put that in the video. So, and teaching them. How long will this? How long will this do? The rest of my life. Now he's laughing. Look at that. Thank you. Thank you for coming. All right. So I'll be working with these two. They already said they're going to come back to me when I'm feeling better, because I'm not going to remember a whole lot, and that's partially why I'm dictating to the camera. Because I was going to write it down, but I'm going to be fading pretty fast here. So essentially, it is a lifelong thing. Like I said, the rest of your life. But it doesn't necessarily mean servitude. Is what he said. It's just I could probably learn from him for the rest of my life. But until he says my debt is clear, then my debt is not clear. And when he was talking about defiling their ground, he because I silently asked, well, why was it just me and not some of the other people I know? Like there's another person in the forum that's been to that same place. They didn't live in that exact place for as long as I did. It was literally my backyard. And it was just that I'd done enough spiritual development that well, as Mike said earlier, it's you woke something up, and I don't know that it was asleep, but somehow I grabbed its attention. It is related to the Ziggurat. They did say that I will get better, and it did kind of feel like some of that is going to depend on the work that I do, but some of it's related to the work itself, and I don't know what that means. But I felt there was going to be a marked change for the better. That I'll never be what I was, right? You're only a healthy 25-year-old, 26-year-old, once per lifetime, right? So that was good. I do feel there's a bit of a weight off my shoulders, and there's a realization. And the gentleman to the left here, when I was facing them, I could see his face in my head, and I knew he was a servant, or I don't like that word, maybe messenger. They don't care. Okay, if they don't care, then. So he was the one I was talking to. I was like, all right, well, I don't, I should at least make some effort with the incense. And I was just going to do the cedar, and then I heard that pine would be acceptable. And I have several pine boards, but the board I took it from was one I had with me in Hawaii, which means I've had that board since probably 2015, 2014. So it's about 10 years old. And they said the old one was the preferred one. So that's the oldest piece I have. I did use some of the American elm that I had made these staff for necromantic sorcery when I was working through that, and I was readily given permission that don't hesitate, just do it. Um, as soon as I knew I was going to do this, I was going to do my standard. I was going to do my daily offerings. I haven't done them yet, so I've been laying downstairs, resting, and I was explicitly stopped. I was like, don't do it. No offerings tonight. No daily offerings. Nothing. And that came from a representative from the Fox too. So it's like, all right, that's fine. But I have moon water as part of the Fox rituals, and so I went ahead and drank that because I was told if I didn't, then I shouldn't drink it. And I don't necessarily know why. Well, I have an idea, but this is before the ritual. Now, there were some things that were happening during ritual that you may or may not have heard. Like I specifically knelt on purpose. Absolutely intentional. I mean, I may have gotten the better of it for 20 years, but there probably would have been some of the most healthful years I would have had, right? So there's a realization there that you should probably bend a little bit of the pride there, and it felt right, because I knew that if I ever got back to the Ziggurat, that's exactly the pose I would take with it. I would sink to my knees and just bathe in that energy. So it felt right. Although I hadn't thought about that for a long time. Another thing was he was using part of my energy to come here, but it's part of him in a sense too, because he's like in here in a way. That's how it kind of works. That's how he's working it. So both my palms were heavily connected to him, and it was like a pulling action. But it was going both ways. It was pulling to me and pulling from me. I've never had my palms connected like that before. At the same time, same strength, doing the exact same thing. And that's where the real connection was coming from. Because he wasn't going to come fully here. He wasn't going to do it. I was calling on him, and I had wronged him, so therefore he was only going to partially come. And I can see it from that perspective. I did have an idea before the ritual that I was going to be putting in some work. I knew that I was getting hints from that messenger or servant that there was going to be some interaction for a while. And I had an interesting thing happen last night that I don't know if it was related, but I was doing a ritual with Ashira, and in the ritual, Baal came, and I was asking Ashira to help heal and soothe some of the people who were going through some very tremendously painful times in the world here. And so I was doing and working for that when Baal came, and uncharacteristically, he's like, I would like a candle. And I wasn't about to say, well, what have you done to deserve one? I just knew I needed to give him a candle. So, okay. And I don't know the history of the Ziggurat. I don't know the history of this entity with the Ziggurat. Before, after, I don't know. Well, before, after creation of the Ziggurat. I don't know. I did feel like I had never been one of his disciples or adherents or anything like that, or that I don't think there was any type of worship to him at all, whoever this person is. And it is not a flaky spirit. I mean, I've never had a spirit do that technique before. I've never experienced it before. I've never read about it before. It's pretty crazy. And I mean, he's getting what he wanted, but I did know that I needed to say that even if he had called me, I wouldn't know what to do. But I also took a gamble in saying, well, basically, why didn't you come for me like Akate did? You know, you know, sometimes I'm that way, and I'll be that way at work too. Like when I go to an interview, I'll interview them as well. I'm like, hey, why is this position still even open? How long did the last person who had this position stay at it? You know, I mean, you know, things like that. So, how long does your average employee turnover last, right? I mean, a lot fewer of those questions here, but I did feel that needed to be said because I have no problems owning up to walking through that space. I have no problem with that at all. I absolutely did. I still remember it. It's still a very fond memory of mine. When I used to, because there was a lull where things really quieted down, so I started jogging again, and I would jog through the ruins. I didn't jog up on top of the temple, but I did go up on top of the temple. That may have been what caused this, or at least may have started it, because I was against that happening in the manner that it happened, and that's all I'm really going to. That's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, my men were going to have to do it, so therefore I went with them, and because I'd already protested several times using the official chanting command. So I don't think that was necessarily the incident, though. The incident that we're talking about here, though, I think is when I was jogging through the ruins, and I mean, I was very careful, you know, to follow on the established paths. I mean, they were all dirt paths. There was no concrete like there is now that you can find on Google Maps. None of that. That parking lot wasn't there. They paved that because there was I think a 250-pound bomb that used to be in some of the little buildings over there. That don't look like they're there anymore. And so I stayed on the same paths that the archaeologists and the curators have been using. I wasn't doing anything but jogging through it, but I guess at some point I must have woken them up, at least to my presence. I'll say that, because it's not like they were sleeping or anything like that. So I don't want to be disrespectful to them there, but yeah, I'm gonna have to think about this one for a while, because that palm technique, and then realizing that he was also kind of a little bit coming through me. There was an energy that is in there, probably it's using to keep me sick, keep me getting sick again. But I don't feel it's necessarily malicious, though. You certainly made a point, and I think I'll probably just leave it at that, because I got a lot I got to think about now.